Hello teachers, and welcome to this video on do's and don'ts for teaching lower level students. So let's get started. In this video, we are going to analyze 5 key points for a successful class with lower level students. So our 5 key points will be the warm-up, visual aids, the reward system, correcting mistakes, and the lesson plan. So let's get started with the warm-up. These are our do's and our don'ts. Now, the warm-up is very important because the lower level students, many of them are very, very young and obviously have lots of energy. So they can find it really hard to just sit still and concentrate during the lesson. So the purpose of the warm-up is to capture the students' attention from the beginning of the class and to really get them into the mood for English learning. So let's begin with the do's. So first point, begin with a fun warm-up. Now there are many fun kids videos on YouTube you can use for these ideas. For example, one video that I like to use is the zoos video where it hides an animal behind the leaves and the student must guess which animal it is before it appears. Another game could be listening, an animal listening game, where they have to listen to the animal sound and guess which animal it is. So there's many ideas for having a fun warm-up. Now try to make it different each class. Why? Because the students will eventually learn all the tricks you have, and with new warm-ups it makes them really anticipate the next lesson. For example, I found that even playing rock, paper, scissors can be a fun warm-up, and it's a warm-up that involves interaction right with the students. They always want to beat Teacher Wendy. They always want to win. Other examples of warm-ups you can use could be the Name 5 Things game, where the student has to name 5 objects of, say, 5 fruits or 5 games. And you can use the timer to get them really rushing to give you the correct answer. So there's lots of ideas that you can use for changing it up a bit with the warm-up. Another point is to encourage your student to move. That's the whole purpose. Although videos can be a good thing, they can also be bad if your student is just sitting there and watching the video. Because once the video's over, your student will say, I'm not really up for having an English lesson. So really try to show them the video beforehand and maybe even teach them some moves. For example, if your warm-up video is the baby shark, you can tell them, copy my movements. Baby shark, do-do-do-do-do. Mommy shark, daddy shark. So if you show them the steps beforehand, then they won't be lost during the warm-up. Those are some key points. Now what about the don'ts? Well, number 1 is don't just start the lesson from the minute you log into the class. So some children naturally don't enjoy learning a new language, and the last thing that would encourage them would be if you just dive right into the material and ask them to participate. So make sure that you don't skip this part. It's very important. Number 2 is don't use the same warm-ups over and over again. It's the same point that we just talked about, right? Try to make it different each class. So that involves preparing beforehand and remembering warm-ups that you already did with that particular student. Number 3 is use a video that doesn't involve movement or actions. Don't do this. So again, that comes to our point as well, to encourage the student to move. Right? We really want to get their little brains working so that they're motivated for the lesson. Get them actively involved. All right, that brings us to our point number 2, visual aids. So let's begin with our do's. So we do want to use TPR, which is body language and using our hands and acting out the verbs. And this can really help the student understand what the word means. For example, let's say that the verb was the word fly, and it had a picture of a bird or something. I'm a terrible artist. That's supposed to be a bird. Maybe they don't really understand what it is. So you can use TPR, maybe flap your wings and say fly, fly, fly. And they'll understand, oh, okay, I know what that means. That means fly. I also found that TPR can also help the student know what you expect of them. For example, if you ask them a question, you can put your hand up like this so they know, oh, yeah, she's expecting an answer, right? So you can say like, hey, how are you? Ah, good, good. That's another way we can use our TPR. Another thing we can use are, of course, props. They always capture the students' attention. They can make them laugh, and they also get them involved with real-life objects around them. For example, when I talk about colors, I like to use my set of markers, and I'll flash them really fast, like, what color is this? What color is this? Right? And maybe I'll even put a timer and be like, how many colors can you say in 30 seconds? Just an example, or 10 seconds. You can put a timer and be like, what color? What color? So props, again, really can draw the student's attention. I also like to use my little koala as well as a prop. It always makes the students happy, makes them laugh. He can help us with verbs like climb or slide, as an example. Really try to change it up with the props. Use of images. This is also really nice. The good thing with using Classin is that you can share your screen. Over here in the corner, there's an option to share your screen, and you can show them pictures from the internet. For example, one student, I showed him one vocabulary word was a zucchini. And he said, oh, that's a watermelon. And he didn't really understand it too much. So what I did is I shared my desktop, and I went on Google and showed him more pictures of zucchinis, and he could understand it better. So that can be used for any vocabulary word. So really try to use the images to capture their attention. Also, use appropriate videos. We don't want to show them just any video during the lesson, and we certainly don't want to use it up a lot of our time. So try to keep the videos from 1 to 2 minutes and make sure that they are vocabulary related videos. For example, let's say the student is learning the weather. So you can show a video with audio that says, how's the weather? And before you show the video, you can tell them to repeat, how's the weather, how's the weather? And then you have them repeat the song. And of course, the song would include weather that they already learned in the lesson, like sunny, or maybe windy, or snowy. So really try to include material that uses the vocabulary that they are learning in their lesson. Okay, what about the don'ts? Don'ts. So, we don't want to sit absolutely still during the lesson. Why? Because your student will lose interest quickly, and it'll make them feel like the lesson isn't important to you, that you're bored. So really try to exaggerate, move your arms, move up close to the camera so they can see your face, make silly faces like I'm angry or I'm sad. And really use your body language. You can even stand up during the lessons and have them jump or swim. Again, this really helps the student. Makes it fun for them. Don't use the same props every class. So really try to change it up a bit. There's nothing wrong with having a few repeated props, like for example a stuffed animal or a puppet. But what you can do is you can even print out images from the internet. Really try to change it up every class. Very good. So that is our points on visual aids. Let's go on now to the reward system, which is one of my favorite topics. So let's begin with the do's. So the first point is do reward the student for every effort that is made. Now this is very important because the students, they can sometimes be very shy or insecure, and they need to feel like their efforts are validated. So give them praise, reward them, build up their confidence, and it's also a form to capture the students' attention during the lesson. Next is use creative methods. So again, this point is very important. We always want to keep it creative and change it up. And there's many ways you can do it. I personally like to use Classin because Classin allows me to use different props and PNG images. For example, one of my favorites is this one here. It's called the clown face game. I'm just going to smile real quick. So with this game, I take a picture of myself or the student, and each time they answer correctly, they can add something to my face, like pick a nose. Okay, oh no, Teacher Wendy's a pig. Okay, you did so good. Now you can pick eyes. All right, now can you pick hair? Oh, why'd you pick that hair? That's big clown hair. I look like a clown now. So really try to be creative with the reward system. There's so many things that you can do. And you can even get ideas from other teachers too. Ask them how they reward their students. Another example that I like to use is the ice cream shop as well. So again, using PNG, we can either roll the dice, or if not, the student can choose a number and we can say, let's see what's behind number 3. Ba-dum! Oh, a yummy strawberry ice cream. Oh, that's delicious. Let's eat it. Or, you know, change it up. Every class you can have different prizes. Really try to be creative. And adapt to the student's interests, right? That's the second point. Adapt, or the third point. Adapt to the student's interests. So I've noticed, for example, that some rewards, they work well for one student, but may not work the best for another student. For example, I had a young girl that didn't really like the clown game that much, but she really liked to eat. So I would always make sure that her prizes included treats and that we could have fun eating the treats. And they just love that. It's fun for them. So really try to change it up. So let's now talk about the don'ts. So don't just reward the student by saying, good job, yay. Although this should always be done when the student answers correctly, this isn't enough. Younger students, they need to really be rewarded in a fun way. And one way that you can do that easily is by using a button that appears over here on the screen next to your camera. The student's camera, here's a picture of the student, their video. Down below is a button that you will see. I wish I could show you right here, but there's no student in my class. A button that looks like a trophy. So if you click that button, it makes a really fun sound and a big trophy appears on the screen. So you can use this button to also reward the students when they do a good job. Be like, yay, good job, ding, ding, ding. It makes a really fun sound. So use that button. It's a really good built-in system in Classin. So take advantage of that. Also, don't forget to reward the student. Sometimes that can happen. Sometimes you have a reward system built in, but time goes by fast and then you forget to give them their ice cream or their donut or what have you. So whether it's through the Classin trophy button or prizes or a huge smile or a thumbs up, a reward system goes a long way. Okay, what about correcting mistakes? That's point number 4. So let's begin first with our do's. Number 1 is do commend the student for the effort made. Many times the student will make mistakes or will give the wrong answer. Even when they do, you should still thank them or commend them for making the effort. So they'll see that making mistakes is not a big deal and that you're there to support them. So commend them for the efforts made. Do correct major mistakes. Now, it's all about having balance with our students. Although we always want to be positive, do not let your student get away with making major mistakes in the target vocabulary sentence during that lesson. Our job as a teacher is to help the student speak and read English accurately. For example, I have a student that she likes to read very fast, but sometimes she skips syllables in the sentence. Instead of saying wanted, she says want, as an example. So if I see that she's skipping important words or not making an effort to pronounce the words properly, then I will have her pause and sound the words slowly. So really try to focus on correcting them, but in a positive way. Now, another way that you can correct is to guide the student to the correct answer, right? Guide them. This can be done by asking additional questions. For example, if you showed the student a blue marker and they said, it's green, you could give them clues. You could be like, well, this color, it begins with a b sound, and it rhymes with ooh or new. Right? You can give that as a clue. Because they say it's green. Well, this is green. This one begins with a b sound. Just to put an example, right? To correct or to guide them. Also, if you're working with the G1 lesson students, they have to read fictional stories. So you can actually scroll up and highlight the sentence that gives the correct answer, and they can reach the correct conclusion. Let's talk about don'ts. So don't correct every mistake. The student will be very discouraged or maybe even angry or annoyed. Be patient and focus on correcting the target language learned in that lesson, right? So be very patient. So this applies more to G2 learners that have to read the longer passages. And of course, don't discourage the student by saying wrong or no, incorrect, no, that's wrong. That will, of course, will discourage them very, very much. So you can say things like, oh, you're very close. Or, remember what we learned on this page? And then you can go back and show them. Or if, for example, they match the incorrect word with the wrong picture, you could say, well, I could see where you might think that's the right answer. But what word belongs to this picture? What do you think the word is for this particular picture? So there's different ways to correct a student without saying that they're wrong. Very good. So that brings us to our final point, the lesson plan. Point number 5. Let's begin with the do's. So one important thing is do add to the lesson plan. The lesson plan, of course, has great structure for teaching the student vocabulary or target language. When you follow it, it's very true. It's a good lesson plan. However, it's always good to add to it with additional material. And you can do this with using games. Like, for example, I like to use the shark game. So when the student sees the shark, it's a hide from the shark. And then, oh, okay, it's gone. What word is this? Oh, spider. Oh, yeah, very good. What word is this? Sparrow. Awesome. Oh no, hide. And you hide. So again, using these games or adding this to the lesson plan will make it more enjoyable for the student. That is our second point, actually, to create games related to the lesson plan. Here's another example that I like to use. I like to play the bomb game with the student. So say that they are learning a vocabulary word for F, so farm, E, H, and G. So this is for like a lower level student. So I roll the dice, And then it lands on the number 5. Okay, number 5, what is it? Ah, goat. Yay! And I can give them prizes, a candy, whatever. But if it lands on the bomb, I have a sound effect for a bomb, and the bomb goes, oh no, it's a bomb, down, down, down. So really try to create games that you can adapt to each lesson. For example, I can delete these, I can put different vocabularies in it, but the bomb games is still there. Very good. Next is adapt lesson plan to the student. Okay, adapt. So I teach lessons with students that still don't know how to read on their own. So they advance at a shorter pace with a particular material. They may not be able to understand yet how to complete the sentences that it asks. For example, example sentence, I went to the park. So if they can't read already, then they won't be able to complete the sentence. So you might have to actually get them to repeat it. You can just say the sentence for them. So again, every lesson is different. Every student is a different level. So just go at their pace. Don't rush through it too much. Very good. So we don't want to discourage them. Now what about the don'ts? So don't stick 100% to the lesson plan. It's a great guide, but don't just follow it step by step. If the student sees the lesson plan on the page, they'll eventually get bored and maybe not be too motivated to continue reading. So try to vary it with images, with videos, as we mentioned the other examples. So every time that they have a lesson with you, they expect something exciting to happen. So that's why it's always good to add these extra games and activities. Very good. Well, that concludes our lesson on the do's and don'ts for teaching lower level students. I really hope that you learned some good tips and tricks. The nice thing about with teachers being in this community is that we share each other's ideas. So please feel free to ask other teachers, ask your administration for more ideas. And I really hope that all these tips and tricks will help you in your future teaching. Well, thank you so much for watching this video and enjoy your lessons with the lower level students. Have fun. Happy teaching. Bye-bye.